Hey there, lads and ladies. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the show. As per usual, hope you're drinking some water, maybe some coffee, maybe some other hydrating material, if that's how you want to put it. Either way, probably the last time we're talking about this, unless 100 Thieves does respond, which I imagine they won't. A lot of people out there taking some crazy sides on this. I wanted to lastly share with all of you some clarification and some talking about the Riot Games versus 100T and their Valorant team situation, which Hiko has actually talked about. He talked about when it first happened, just over a week ago, giving some, I would say, a bit more context of the main argument being over the server location and the ping of which the players were having to play on, that being for 100 Thieves and that being for Immortals, and then follows up with a very brief statement after the drama started unraveling. The competitive ruling was actually issued, 100 Thieves responded, then Riot Games responded. So here are those clips.
What do you mean? Hi, Nimrod, doing good, doing well. What was up with the big delay? You want to hear about the delay? So we were, let's just say we were arguing with the tournament admins because they were trying to pull a fast one on us. We felt, still probably feel it. When we played TSM last week in the closed qualifier, they made a ruling that we essentially had to play on a server. We had to play Texas against them. Or I think it was either we had to play Texas or we had to play Chicago against them, server location. And they basically said based on mathematics, it was technically more even to play on whether it was Chicago or Texas. I think it was Illinois, because Steele had like 65 or 70 ping to Chicago, and they just said, well, Texas is more fair, the average ping is more even to Texas, so or Chicago, so you have to play Chicago. Like, okay, well, all right. And then yesterday, it's the same thing kind of happened. They're like, you guys have to play Texas. And we're like, well, or maybe it was Chicago. I think they forced us to play Illinois yesterday. And we're like, well, technically, the average ping to Texas is better, even if it's a fraction of what, it was like 0.5 or 1 better. And they're like, yeah, well, that doesn't matter this time. And then they made a ruling that like having 65 ping is not allowed. It's not playable. But they just forced us to do that the previous week against TSM because Steele was getting packet loss and he had 65 ping. So we got this big argument with the tournament, and then we had to get Riot involved, and it was, it just felt like we were being treated unfairly. I think that we all kind of felt that NSG has kind of had it out for us. So now that we had an official ruling from Riot on this whole stuff, now we know what actually is the reasoning behind some of these things. It's not just like, oh, Nerd Street just doesn't like us, and so they're just trying to, screw us over or something. So I think it was necessary. I think that, the way that the Immortals manager or coach, whoever he is, came in, and he basically came in and just said, he told our coach to shut up. So it was kind of weird, but what can you do? It's fine. I guess all I'll say is it's very surprising, and I don't agree with the way that Riot handled it. I guess we can leave it at that. I guess Hector said don't talk about it, so that's that. We'll leave it at that. I just thought it was funny that the mob mentality that is Twitter, where everybody was against us and our coach, and then all of a sudden now everyone's for us and our coach. So it's Twitter and the internet is just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. That's all I got. That's all I'll say.
And I definitely agree with this point. And, as a news outlet, certainly, I think it's almost fair the way that Twitter was going with this. He is right. There is certainly a mob mentality out there. But I want to just quickly say, when this ruling first came out, it was a terrible look for 100 Thieves. So, of course, Twitter's going to be all over that. People aren't going to be waiting to see what 100 Thieves has to say about this. In the moment, you get caught up in especially the way they worded it. it made it seem so bad. Of course, people are going to freak out. Then you have 100 Thieves responding with their statement and their video. And of course, mob mentality is going to shift because we rarely see video evidence, and a fire back from a prominent social media team as well, as in, ironically, 100 Thieves. Of course, people are going to be like, yo, that looked terrible for Riot. For 100 Thieves, and now it looks terrible for Riot Games. And then when they respond and edit, and actually, of course, have the 3 witnesses, the coach admission, and they apparently 100 Thieves denied to send the full video, I understand why people were shifting back and forth. We were actually running YouTube polls during the whole thing, and at first, people were about 70% on 100 Thieves side. Then they swung to like about 60-65% Riot Games side. It was swinging back and forth as more evidence was shown. I think Hiko touches on the most important issue that's probably overseen in all this is the handling of the situation from both sides. That being Riot Games and the rules around ping and server locations, which seem to be kind of changing a bit from match to match as they bring up the TSM match in the past, along with this one versus Immortals. It seems that those details are a bit hairy, and that was probably the bigger issue here. But the handling of that, of course, Riot Games coming out publicly, making 100T not look good, and the fire back by 100T, but denying to send the full video. I think both sides could have handled it better, and hopefully, with this big drama, the whole ping and server location arguments, well, hopefully some better rules are made so this kind of thing is not a reoccurring issue. So I liked how Hiko kind of touched on it, gave it a bit more context. At the end of the day, though, now that we know everything, who do you think was in the right? Was either side in the right? I'm still leaning towards, when you deny to send the full video, I still lean towards Riot Games side on this one. But besides that, Hiko did speak on it, gave us a bit more painting to the picture. That's not a line. Until next time, take care, drink wa, drink ka. I'll catch you guys back here next time.